It would be very useful.
Mhm.
Right.
You know,
I lost my baby girl and they killed my dog. I was laying on the bottom feeling sad, thinking about doing bad things, raging fucking mad. I couldn't understand why I was chosen. Then it led to my rage and explosion. I am the one who can make this better. It's my job to make things right. I need to pick myself up. It's time for my biggest fight. Wrap your kids in the Bible. Wrap your kids in the flag. CPS is from the devil. Y'all know that it's a fact. I'm a father that went to jail. I cherish my daughter. It was nothing when they come for her and me. There should have been a slaughter. Stand with us. Make parenting great again. Abolish CPS. Ambush with the black SUVs. They come armed, they came for me, and they came for her. Stand with us, make parenting great again, abolish CPS. They took her from me, she's across the state. Gone for a year now, taken away. All these people who have written me off, I'm here to show my face and tell you you're wrong. I never was as good as you, and for the record we know that's not true. I'm not trying for a comparison. How dare you, you're embarrassing. I don't wanna be as good as anyone else. I fight this battle, I fight for myself. I am the one who can make this better. It's my job to make things right. I need to pick myself up. It's time for my biggest fight. I don't care about your judgment, I'm glad you gave us this test. But when your life is over, will your heart sleep quietly in your chest? I've got more life to live. As a matter of fact, it's just beginning. I've been given a challenge and my daughter is waiting. It's a fight I can't walk away from, a new life we are creating. So why you sit there mouth full of hating? Be sure my mind is planning on invading. I've got a war to fight and I'm on. I won't give up, I need to win, this is bigger than you. I don't expect you to understand. I am the one who can start over. It's my job to make things right. I need to pick myself up. It's time for the biggest fight. I won't be left behind. This is the time, I call it mine. Step out of the way unless you wanna play Trump. Stand with us. Make parenting great again. Abolish CPS. There is no time for bickering. The clocks are flickering. Pick up your weapon and join me. If not, go back to ignoring me. I will be on top. Pistol going pop, pop. Money falling from my pockets. You'll still be lying on docket, so fuck you. A father's tears fall like the rain. A mother's cries locked in pain. No gavel should steal what love has made. This war at home needs a barricade. We fight for hearts we won't forsake. No more lives for the system to break. Stand as one, make parenting great. Together we'll rewrite fate. The family fire keeps us alive, but cold hands threaten what should thrive. Shadows creep where justice should glow. It's time to end this silent woe. Paper lies bear the weight of loss, but souls aren't sold, there's no cost. Hold the line, don't break or
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
We need to stop CPS and abolish CPS.com is leading the way. Join us.
Good evening, everybody. This is the CPS Punisher, and this is CPS Victims Hunting Justice. It is Thursday night, and it is a balmy one here in Maine. Tonight, I don't know if you guys caught the Tiff and the Punisher show earlier. I definitely would go back and revisit that if you guys have not seen that. It was definitely worth the watch. That was a great show with Sylvia Beachy in it, and it was definitely one for the books for sure. She's a great person. She's got a great story. She's worked hard in this for the past 5 years. She has her organization, the Rescue the Fosters. She focuses more on the foster kids, and when they get out, and because they have no place to go, right? They got nothing really. When our kids get aged out of there, and when they come out all beaten and scraggled and, put forth into, onto society, and they don't know who their family is because the foster family, has said, okay, we're done getting your checks, so you guys can be gone. They're sent out onto the streets, and 75% of them will end up 75% of them will end up in jail. Most of them will end up, homeless, STDs, prostitution, drug and alcohol addictions. There's all of these things that these kids are ending up with. They're our kids, not just these kids, our kids. And that's her fight. That's what she goes for, and what she goes for. So make sure you check her out at let's see, what is it? It is rescuethefosters.org. And then also her podcast is Einsight, and it's on Monday through Wednesday, on Monday nights and Wednesday nights. I'm not sure the time. I'll get that, but she's got a whole crew on there for that too. So that's really great. And we'll be joining her too. So I see we got Brenda and we got Gunner in the back here. So let's see what these guys have to say. Brenda, Gunner.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey Brenda, how are you? Gunner, how you doing, buddy?
You hanging in there, going?
One day at a time, but once again, every day's a fight.
Every day counts, man. Every day counts.
Just keeping people honest, and I've done more. Me and my son have done more to protect children just here in our area than CPS has ever done. My son worked at a place, and he was underage when he started, and now he's 18. But his bosses and stuff said, hey, they use Snapchat to talk to each other. I says, I didn't know about any of this stuff, like I said, because once again, I was separated from my son until he was 18. And until a problem, I was letting him kind of adult a little bit. And then Come to find out, they were Snapchatting, and I found out. I'm like, wait a minute, ain't there underage girls on there too with older men and this and that? And then he's like, well, yeah. I says, well, show me. So he opens it up, and here's the Snapchat, the group text with all the people in it. And I says, now, do they have private messages, or do you guys talk privately with your supposed bosses? He goes, oh, yeah, all of them are on here. Look, they talk to me in private rooms.
Huh.
I'm like,
Yeah, that's the thing about Snapchat. I just wish a couple years ago learned about that too. If you have the person's number, okay, you save it in your
Yeah.
phone or whatever, and then if they happen to be on Snapchat, you're automatically going to be connected with them, just like that.
well, the misconception with this is the legal side. Most people think with Snapchat, it's there and it's supposedly supposed to disappear, right? No, it does not. That has already been proven. They in court cases to where they have law enforcement has retrieved information or conversations based on this Snapchat to catch predators and criminals and everything else. So they're well aware of that. Once again, they get the subpoena for it. But the issue is my son was asking for time off. And then I come to find out that he has not had access to the company schedule to see his schedule. I says, you haven't had this? He goes, no, not since right before Christmas rush. I says, what? How do you know your schedule? Oh, I just show up or they call me in. I go, no, 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 no. I said, so you don't have a paper schedule, do you? And then I asked him just to double check because once again, I'm a former employer in my state. So I know the laws.
Mhm.
And they said, no, it's not that. It's a digital schedule. I says, and you can't get to it. He goes, no, no. So then he asked for time off. Then they say, okay, yeah, you can have that time off. And then they call him in. Hey, you're scheduled to work. No, I'm not. I was supposed to be off. I requested that time off. But he goes, well, look at the schedule. How can I look at the schedule? I don't have access. Constantly telling that to the managers until the point they said the manager literally says in Snapchat and confesses to it, as you know, and all this stuff on there. They've got the whole thing. I was looking through some of them, the conversations of saying, you know, well, I'll text you your schedule, is what he said on Sundays. And I'm like, okay, well, Sunday came, no schedule. Okay, well, I'm off this week. So he doesn't get in. So they call him, and one of his usual days, he worked during the week. And so they called him and said, where the hell are you? He goes, I'm off. I requested it off, and you pushed it 3 times. Now, the reason he was wanting to do this is so him and I could schedule something or go do something together. You know what I'm saying? Because of my health as a father and son, that I have this company jerking my son around by not giving him his schedule. And then on top of it, finding out that you're Snapchatting people, including underage girls. I simply just called the district manager and said, hey, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the management has instructed them to use Snapchat as a form of company communication. I'm a former business owner. They don't have the authority to do that. That's illegal. And do you know what that goes towards? Boom, they go in there and shut that store down. Everybody's let go. Fired the one. I don't know if they filed charge. I says, hey, I just needed you to investigate it. One, that's inappropriate. That guy needs to be let go. But there needs to be investigation of whether or not that guy, he has opened him up to himself this of getting a warrant to look at the Snapchat conversations to see whether or not there was any appropriate behavior by management with underage children. This is the kind of shit a parent's supposed to catch. This is bullshit. This is why we have call from the company phone, company email on company, nothing private. As soon as you leave your work, you're not meant to have relations outside of your work. You're supposed to go home and live your life. Now you're mixing those two. Now that's where the problem is. And they come to find out 2 of them worked there that actually hooked up together because of some of this. And actually one of them's pregnant. So, wow. Yeah, so you see the little pattern beginning to emerge that don't look too good. Now I'm not going to put the company's name, anything that's for him to deal with, but that's what I've been helping my son with. That's what a father does. You know, hey, you're going to have to watch out in the world. These people are going to take advantage of you, and you got to know your rights and your laws, including your labor laws if you work. Yeah. And they're taking advantage of these kids of playing with their schedules and all this other stuff, let alone doing the other stuff one time. Guys, one time is all it takes. But I mean, Darren, doesn't that just blow your damn mind? I mean, of course, not in this day and age, but damn, where's the professionalism gone?
What does that word mean? That doesn't mean a damn thing anymore. Professionalism.
No.
They don't. They don't. No one works with pride anymore. There's no such thing as professionalism. They don't care about what your family values are or what
Nope.
your family has to do. It used to be Sunday was a day of, you hung out with your family, you barbecued and did all that. No one cares about that stuff anymore. Those days are gone. They need to be brought back, but they're gone. I mean, that's just it.
Well,
Until you bring it back, then that's that.
and what do you think that is? I mean, that's what CPS has basically been doing, is destroying families, because after that, especially with them coming into the home illegally, that's your safe place. This is my fucking home. No, you don't have a fucking right in here. I don't give a shit who you are. Come with your paperwork.
Yeah.
But they coerce, or the state gives them the
Well, here's the
permission
thing.
to come in.
Well, no, but here's the
Now
thing.
what?
Why are they even there to begin with? Because they have no authority.
Exactly.
They have zero authority. They're not even a real organization, for God's sakes. Where did these people get this?
No.
Where did they get this this idea that this is okay and they can just come to your house with this said warrant if they have one? If they don't, then they go get one that's rubber stamped. It's not even a legit court document and all this. And then here's the part. We are stupid because we let them do this. We volunteer ourselves to allow them to go in and come in and take our kids. We do this. This is where we as the parents need to accept the responsibility for the facts that we didn't do our own research, that we just handed out our children to a rogue freaking government entity because they had a badge and a briefcase. We gave them our freaking kids. This is our fault. We did this as parents. We've done this.
Well,
we didn't do our homework.
Now, Darren, there's a little bit more to that on our side, because one, I was raised in the Chicagoland area. You think for sure I don't know what the Second Amendment is coming from the Chicagoland area? You done lost your damn mind. We know all about it because of the corrupt cops in Chicago that, once again, was completely revealed, and the things that were going on there. But at the same time, there's a lot of history in Chicago. Now, my wife was raised in a military family. You think she doesn't know her constitutional rights? That's why when he broke in my house and she turned her back to work deal with something with the kids, that motherfucker snuck in, and by that time she was in shock and awe. You just broke into my house. I can't believe you just did that. Now there's a man in here. She doesn't know what to do. She wasn't raised like that either. But you knew I didn't invite you in. Turning my back to deal with my kid is not an invitation.
Right.
It's not.
But at the end of this game.
And it was testified on the stand of that, and the judge goes, no, don't care.
Yeah,
Why?
that's just it. You still were at the stand. You still, one way or the other, ended up allowing them to get you into that courtroom. You ended up in the dance. Because why?
Well, that was what they did with
your
us.
family was on the line.
They arrested both me and Chris, and then went to our house and pounded on the door for like an hour and a half or whatever, and threatened the kids they were going to bust it down if they didn't open it.
That's it. Do you guys realize what both of you said that in your sentence, the same words?
Mm-hmm.
What word did both of you say? Threaten. At what
intimidated, coerced.
Right, exactly. At what point have we made our government feel that they were so comfortable as to threaten us to take our children? I would think that if anybody threatens, if you threaten me in the real world, you're not getting shit out of me.
I can tell you the progression of it is when they started doing, and you can look through it historically, is when they started with gun control measures in some of the states. That's when it happened, because then people feared for their weapons and whether or not they were using them properly, because some were saying, yes, you do. No, you don't. I mean, look at the history. See how the castle doctrines evolved of what was legal definition, because at one time there wasn't one, what a castle doctrine is. But the biggest point is they're supposed to leave us alone unless we've broken a constitutional law. Why? Because they're operating under codes. All codes, rules, and regulation are what? For government only. That doesn't apply to me.
Brenda,
and yet they'll drag you through it.
Yeah, Brenda, they went to your house, they arrested you and your husband, They didn't call anybody to come see your kids. They came there and just took them out of the house, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what happened. It was, and they went through all my like notebooks and stuff like that. They went all through all my legal mail, and
Wow.
because and then they said that I had cryptic writing in my notebooks, and
Yeah.
said that the happenings of the election. My husband was running for office. Yes, we're going to take notes about who we're contacting in regards to the election. Like there was something wrong with that. See, and then they turned that around because you look at all the news, the people that are going out on these mass shootings and such, they're going to say, oh, look at, they had cryptic writing. And so they're setting you up for the scenario that you're somebody that you're not.
Oh, I can tell you if I'm one is due to the fact that I'll just put it out there. I read and write and speak several languages. Um, Several languages. So when people see it, they say, I've had that same thing. Oh, you're doing this. What's that? I go, no, I just am, have served. I just have a skill set that I can speak many tongues, not all of them. And I says, I'm getting a little older and rustier at them because I haven't been practicing them as much. But, just one of those things that, people just don't understand and they assume. I wish the old saying would come back, Darren. And you guys remember this one? When you assume something, you make an ass out of you and me.
I say it all the time.
That's a common fucking sense saying. Stop assuming shit until you got hard fucking evidence. Piss off.
Yeah, and like they will continue to say, they telling in the records and everything like that. You're saying this is what they believe. This is what we believe. How are you putting this in record what we believe when you have never asked us what our beliefs were, at all?
Yeah.
Well, again, they're assuming or they're I don't know what they're doing. They're lying.
Yeah,
they're
they're passing judgment on you. Like think about the guardian ad litems. They come in and they see you what for 20 minutes here, maybe 20 minutes there, if you're lucky to even see them. But yet the court leans so heavy.
Yeah, they don't see them.
So heavy, right? Exactly. The court leans so heavy on that side of the decision. But wait a minute, isn't that what the Jarski was about?
Absolutely. SEC versus Jarski kicked open the door to just, it's like drop the mic type of case that judge adjudicated, and what he put in his summation and everything in there was just textbook. He basically said, it said some Chevron doctrine had died. That was there, so they weren't ruling under any of those things. So that was gone for any kind of premise or anything that whoever on whatever side of the court was, well, Your Honor, the Chevron doctrine, no, Chevron doctrine's dead. We're going to go by case law. And, there's none of those loopholes. Those are gone. So then it comes in, well, if that's the case, what about these judges that have been doing these things? They didn't come in with no evidence. They say, look, here's proof. They're adjudicating shit and not mediating like what they're supposed to be doing. They're wearing too many hats, personal hat, your administration hat versus your judicial hat. You're mixing the two up in personal business versus the other. You can't do that shit. That's why they said if you're there and you're supposed to be mediating, which is like divorce, they're there to they don't give a shit if you guys hate each other. It's a fucking game. Your lawyers are the one making the money off of that shit. Y'all are stupid. Yeah. It's going to come down to something simple. You're going to get half of your marital assets and everything you had before. Then that's as simple as that. And you got to work out the little details. That's all the court's going to do. Unless there was a prenup or something else and stuff like that. And then it's supposed to be 50-50 with the kids. Work it out, guys. You're adults. But with all this anger and tricks and stuff that they're telling stuff like women, all the, especially divorce attorneys, just charge them with a CPS case and you'll get your kids. Charge them for abuse and all that other shit. Oh, there's attorneys out there. And if people were honest and came forward that their attorney told them that in privacy, and a lot of them, they're not going to do it because they have their kids and they know, well, now I've compromised myself because I'm just admitting to kind of like a crime because I didn't. And, she swayed me into it. Listen, that's called coercion into a crime. People, if you're watching that's happened to you, that's coercion to a crime. Whether you knew it or not, you were being coerced into a crime. You're not liable for those things, or the liability is extremely limited, if you will. But doing the right thing and putting it out there of saying, yes, that happened to me and this is going on, those are the voices we need to hear of truth to expose this stuff.
Well,
This
yeah,
all comes together.
They tried to blackmail me. They were they tried to make up this whole scenario that the kids said that there was domestic violence in them after they did several things that didn't pan out, like raid our house and all that other stuff. But then they said, okay, there's domestic violence in them. Okay, so that's another excuse. They want to come in, they want to talk to me. I said, no, it's not happening. This is the same time Chris was in jail or whatever for this little bit of marijuana. But we never get these reports from the children. It's always something like, they're just called. And they also told my sister, because my sister was trying to take custody of the children, said, if your sister just left Chris, that she would get her kids back. Or my court-appointed attorney said, okay, well, if Chris is, out of the picture, it might be better for you. So Chris agreed that he would move out to a friend's house that lived down the road or whatever, this old couple. But they said that wasn't far enough. He had to move out of state to make them satisfied, I guess. That down the road wasn't far enough.
Yeah.
Hey, Gunner, did you have to leave your house? Was your wife given the Gunner leaves the house? You can have the kids back, most likely. So was mine.
No. Mine was this. I wasn't given a choice. I was the sole owner of my home. It was a premarital asset. It was one. I wanted another divorce. So there's paperwork proving that the court gave it to me upon divorce. And then when all this came up, the magistrate actually ordered me, because the caseworker falsified my address to a commercial building I had that's zoned commercial, and and basically put on the paperwork I lived there, and then the judge ruled, you can't go back to your house. And he said the address. I'm like, you can't ban me from my damn house. That's my damn house. That's illegal seizure. Now understand this too. The reason we were before there is the document petition before the court had forgery on it. You understand? That's the document called forgery. And then my wife was under testimony, said it was coerced or threatened. You have to sign this or you cannot leave here with your kids, and literally held them hostage, and has an advocate that can testify to that. They literally would not let her leave. And when I made a stink about it from the very beginning, even on trial before the family court and even into the civil court for the appeal, they just went on. Why? Because my state has given away our constitutional rights, and they put it in print that they have empowered the agency of CPS in my state, that they can come into your house with no warrant, no court order, and have the right to question your children on private property. That federal case law and the Fourth Amendment and well-established other case law says absolutely fucking not. It's a criminal act. Which, hold on, let's connect the dot. Now, if that's happened, a constitutional right, which is a felony of breaking and entering with no warrant or court order, well, then which doctrine applies there, Darren? What's that one called?
Which one? The void ab initio? Is that what you're talking about?
The fruit from a poisonous tree.
Yeah.
That means any evidence.
Right. I'm not done yet, though. I'm not done with this stuff yet. So I, too, my wife was told that if she leaves, well, they made me leave. I was forced, like you, to leave the house. I had to leave. So now you have, again, 3 people sitting here saying, Chris had to leave the house, you had to leave your wife, I had to leave mine, right? So that's 3 of us that are fathers are removed from the home, right? Mm-hmm. So far we've gotten threatened, fathers removed from the home, and what's the last piece here that we're looking for?
Well, the fact that you went to court after that. I mean, that was an illegal entry, so then you do basically fruit from a poisonous tree because of the Fourth Amendment constitutional right of illegal search and seizure. You're not even supposed to have a court case at all, let alone anything that's ever happened to you.
Did they stop any of your visits with your kids?
What's that?
Did they stop visits with your kids?
With me, they took my so they stopped visits, all contact with my own son, flesh and blood, that had nothing to do with it. That was a whole different case, which was one of the arguments, is they were to separate them based off of the situation that was in. This was something from this side over here as far as custody. I don't have custody of her kids, but I have custody. I have joint custody with my son. I eliminate, but once again, our marriage allowed me custody to basically everybody for that thing. And she's waiting to let the kids, she was going to let the kids decide till they got older whether or not they wanted to possibly, do a name change or something like that and give kids options. We want them to be comfortable with who they are and give them well-informed decisions. So that was something, if they want to do it when they're older, that's fine. We're not going to force that on them, because if they want to honor the memory of their father that did pass away, we don't want to take that from them. We're going to leave that as their choice. That we had discussed that.
Right.
Which I felt was only fair.
I would have.
But see, hold on a second, Brenda.
Sorry.
One thing that's a little different is I would have voluntarily left. I was already out of the home voluntarily. The judge was just saying, I'm just going to keep it that way. Whoa, there's a big difference between, big boy, when I make a choice and you forced it on me. When you forced it on me, you broke the law.
Right.
That was the issue. Please, I don't want you guys to think, hey, he was a dick, he just wandered out of the house. No, I had already moved out prior to even when everything had started. It was a mental health issue, and it was not handled like a mental health issue. Once again, the kids are on the spectrum, so you have to deal with things differently. So unless you've dealt with these particular kids that are on the spectrum, CPS doesn't have a fucking clue what they're doing, because they have no knowledge or training. Oh, we have training. Bullshit. Because any interaction I've ever seen with a kid with autism at CPS, any of them, online, in person, anything, ridiculous, absolutely unprofessional, even to the point of just making the kids scream. But anyway, none of that was still can handle like that. And like I said, no ADA was given to the children. There's the other thing. That these children have labeled, they are on the disability scale for the conditions they have. They are permanently disabled. Whether they like it or not. I'm not going to go into details of some of the medical things that qualify that, but there are things that quantify it that make it thing. It was never respected like that. It was never taken, even though was being actively treated in mental health for certain things, was ripped out of that and put into their formula of something has happened. What kind of trauma with a child that's already dealing with the death of her father has processing issues, we'll call it, is the proper term, can't process things properly, mixes up reality and
fantasy.
Fantasy or dreams. She has very, very vivid dreams. So literally, and like I say, it's not the only stories that she's come up with, because there's other things she's accused her mom of that have never happened, because there would be a bunch of evidence and everything else. But those are special kids that we deal with, but they weren't treated like that, nor was our family. And that's where they're attacking a lot of these kids that have special needs, kids. Why? Do you know how much money you get for those kids because they're on disability and or death benefits or something like that? They scoop it the hell up. Why? They want that damn money. It had nothing to do with truth or anything else. But you're talking about this is how far they go. And we've all got our horror stories.
Right. But this is, Brenda, they stopped your visits too, right?
Well, the thing is after they raided the house, that was the excuse that Florida Department of Law Enforcement was doing an investigation, and we wouldn't have visits for this entire time. Well, they decided, like a month later, they said, okay, we'll go back to court and see if we can get the visits back. I got my visits back. Chris never did. So that was, okay, the kid's taken in April. By September is the last time the kids seen the kids in 2016. But then, so I'm having visits by myself with the children then. They changed it, and not to the Children Home Society, where it was like the house, and they make it look like it's a homey or something like that. We were subject to go into this little office space where it looks like it was babies. My kids are like 10 and 12 years old. The little baby room with miniature chairs. And then they said I was whispering to the kids, and then they canceled my visits again. They had a whole hearing about, I'm saying something inappropriate to the kids. We're going to cancel the visits again. And then I only had letter communication with them for a while.
So, and here's the thing. Only a judge can eliminate visits. They can't. The caseworkers can't do it. The judges can't. But now, check this out. So all of us said the word threaten. All of us had our fathers. The fathers of the households were removed, right? The fathers of the house were removed, and the fathers all lost their visits to their kids. So is this attack on the family or attack on the fathers?
Both.
Yeah, it just had to be both. But I think it is leaning towards the fathers more, I think, because I'm finding that I don't know if it's even if it's just white males. I'm sorry to say that it seems like to me they're giving these the white males a hard time when it comes into these dependency cases.
And here's the thing why. Because they have the most money to spend. They're going to spend every dime they have to get to their child and their family. Even if it breaks them, takes on 2 jobs, bounces between this and that. I mean, it's every guy's story. And the same thing with some of the women, they're meant there to mentally break you, because if they've got you separated, then they mentally break the woman, because now they have you isolated and thinking other things that are probably, all this stuff's not even true, that they're making up things, such as in like my case, you got a bunch of framework and everything else. It's like, there's nothing there. What are you talking about? And let alone
counselors that are more like they'll send the women separate counselor than the husband, and
it's
then
okay. You didn't know this person was a bad person, honey. Oh, that my wife got that one. I'm sure a lot of your wives got that too. You ever hear this line, girls? That's okay. You didn't know your man was a bad man.
Right.
You didn't realize he was a pervert or this or that. I mean, that's the first words. He likes little kids and all this other stuff. And that's where it's just turned. When my wife's looking over and goes, I know this motherfucker's bedroom habits. There ain't no damn way, let alone no damn time. And this is stupid. I mean, my wife and I going through all this. We're just like, are you that fucking dumb? We told you this and that. None of this makes sense. And we both knew it wasn't legal. Our rights were violated. We wonder why the judge wasn't doing anything. Yeah. And come to find out, that's because the state told them they gave away our Fourth Amendment rights, which allowed them to continue with their case. If not, we should have never been in court. When it came for the petition, Your Honor, I got a Fourth Amendment violation. Here's the first thing, though. You don't have jurisdiction anymore, Your Honor. So you can't issue any restraining orders. We got a Fourth Amendment violation we have to discuss. Illegal search and seizure. You know why they walk past it? Because the state says in their codes, policies, and procedures, they can.
Yeah, they have no
That's an act of treason. No. And then they go off and do something stupid, so arrogant, that they print it and give it to you. And go,
and it still doesn't matter.
Did you just admit that you're using state and federal tax money to train state employees and subcontractors to commit constitutional rights violations for profit? Oops.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, two of us can play spin what you just told me a little bit here, but now look at my side. Y'all are getting ready to get here real soon. We get a few things done. You guys are going to hear my whole story, and it's going to blow your mind. And there's a reason I don't talk about all of it, because some of it is just so common, it happens to everyone. It's not that big of a deal as we think. It's like, oh, you had that happen? Yep. Okay. Well, no big deal. But once again, now you've got the Bar Association in every state of going, once some of this stuff comes out, Why didn't any of you fuckers that are judges, lawyers, this, that, why didn't any of you fuckers catch this shit? Why does it take me to figure this shit out? There's an investigation into the bar because that's a very serious question. Why all these family attorneys are seeing constitutional rights violations and they ain't doing shit, let alone reporting the judges to the bar. Why? We're all making money. Every single family attorney just about around the country is swamped, unless you just really, really suck. I mean, there's that. But
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, you got what's the numbers in your state? I mean, you guys see all your family lawyers busy as fuck, ain't they?
Yeah.
Every state you're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to look for some numbers right now, but I want you guys to check this out now. You ready for this? All right, where is it here? Now, mind you, this is 16 years ago, okay? But this video is from here. 16 years ago.
Yeah, I turn on the radio in the car. I'm always hearing about this U.S. adopt kids and all this other stuff. It's like, oh my God. Just like a regular commercial, just selling
Yeah,
Oh
kids.
yeah, they line them up like the meat thing, like you're going to the Humane Society.
Yeah. There you go.
I have 13 children, 11 of them adopted. They saw a need for kids from a variety of backgrounds who need love and a stable.
Let's see. Okay. Here we go.
From the FLDS ranch in West Texas has put Child Protective Services under the microscope.
That case has led others to wonder if they could do that to FLDS children. Can CPS do that to my children?
CPS 42 investigative reporter Nancy Wilson shows us one family who says the same thing happened to them, and 8 years later, they're still trying to clear their names.
We're challenging constitutionality.
This is the Gates family. Gary and Melissa have 13 children, 11 of them adopted. They saw a need for kids from a variety of backgrounds who need love and a stable home. Imagine their surprise when CPS showed up on their doorstep.
The ends justify the means.
Why? The school called CPS when they discovered the Gates pinned a baggie with food wrappers inside the shirt of one of the kids who was caught stealing. It included a 2-page explanation and who to call if there were questions. The school did make a phone call to Child Protective Services.
How can you take 13 kids?
Gates was shocked to find CPS workers in his home uninvited.
That opened my eyes to a whole new way of government.
Especially when CPS refused to leave.
In my being naive, I really kind of fell back on this Fourth Amendment thing. You know, you had protection in the home.
Gates said it didn't matter.
At the end of that day, 6 deputies and 5 CPS officials came into our house and removed all 13 taking.
One by 13 of the Gates children were moved from their homes, loaded into a paddy wagon, and taken to foster homes.
That's wrong.
It was done without a court order under what's called an emergency removal. The law allows it only when there's a danger to the physical health and safety of a child, and the need for protection is so urgent, removal is necessary. What was the danger?
The reason they later on said in court is, well, we felt Mr. Gates was uncooperative, and his uncooperative with us put the children at risk.
First thing Monday morning, the Gates were in court. The judge ordered
What the?
CPS to return the children immediately. But to be safe, the judge ordered an independent evaluation.
Psychologist Jay Bevan conducted the home study. He wrote a glowing report, concluding with, "I've never said this about anyone I've ever evaluated. I admire the Gates. I would not hesitate to place my own children in their care." According to court records, CPS's response was both the department and CASA have found Dr. Bevan's report disappointing.
You would think they'd be saying, you know,
There
well,
it
this
is.
great. We don't need to be involved here. Let us go on to somewhere else where there is some real issues. But instead, they say, well, we're disappointed. And they have just continued to dig in their heels.
Even though the court dismissed the case,
And then they
against the
learn their
Gates,
lesson and
CPS
found their
continues
own
to
people
classify them as
pre-approved
child abusers in the
that they
state
can
central
use that'll
registry.
go their
Say,
way
well,
every
We
time.
felt that you emotionally abused this one child, and since all the kids saw that, that's 13 counts of abuse on those children. And because your wife didn't stop.
What is going on here? The man, there's the man again.
That's 13 counts of emotional abuse from her.
The Gates were never charged with any crime. They are guilty based solely on this. They say such a system is unconstitutional.
Anybody who has an interest in protecting a child.
CPS spokesman Chris Van Dusen says the findings are based on the department's investigation, and no court has ever ruled it unconstitutional.
I haven't heard a lot of complaints. I know certainly we go through administrative reviews, and people have those determinations, have those findings reviewed. But I haven't heard a great deal of complaint about them.
Well, the Gates are certainly complaining. They spent the last 8 years and $175,000 trying to get their names removed from the registry. It took them a number
The
of
registry. There it is, folks.
265%
Hold on.
2 years.
Hold
That
on.
would be a lengthy and sometimes expensive process. But the Gates say
They want them on that registry.
Ron and Judy?
Well, the Gates are also challenging other practices by CPS. They say CPS can come into your home, search it, and take your children without a warrant or a court order.
They say not even the police, sheriff, or FBI can do that. The Gates have founded a nonprofit organization called the Texas Center for Family Rights to help other families dealing with CPS.
And they're currently representing some of the mothers whose children were removed by CPS during the raid on the FLDS ranch last April.
And do you know why they want them on that record and on that list? Because it's saved. Any interaction with CPS is recorded and saved until the youngest child is of the age of 19 for record retention. Now, there's some things that can happen. And if you'll notice, I'm a little flabbergasted at the news, let alone the lawyers that hear these things and just can't put it together. Because I'm sure that, here's the thing, I think there's going to be a case that's going to put the doors off everything, and then everything's going to come. They got to have that flagship. The thing is it's not always going to be the worst case, though, possibly, because here's the thing. It's who figures it out first. And it's not about going after just CPS or this or this or that. It's about who's going to start taking out states, not, my little county thing or my little this. Oh, now it's got to stop. Yeah, you're going to have the numbers. But when you start hitting hard and taking jobs, and who knows what else that, may end up happening in whatever situation comes up, there's going to be some hard consequences. Yeah, these are little jabs. Hey, we're getting rid of the judges here. We're doing reform. We're doing this, we're doing that. Let alone, if you notice in that newscast, it said the constitutionality of it. There's not been a review of constitutionality. And the thing that they don't address is because of that, what's that case law that they have to get by for state into federal, that you don't kick out. I'm drawing a blank here. Rooker versus Selman.
Okay.
Yeah, Rooker versus Feldman, you have to get past. When you file a case to get past Rooker versus Feldman, the big thing you're going to have to lead with is constitutional rights violation and how clear you can present that case, and everything else is secondary, or the multiple counts and how they are, and not just hearsay evidence, talking about with this and evidence. In other words, yes, this is enough to get in, and that's why you guys share discovery. Let's see what evidence you've come up with. Let's see what evidence you have. And then if I don't have certain evidence and I know these people got it, that's where you issue subpoenas and you say, hey, I want all this stuff. I want to review this. Then I'm going to make a witness list of who I possibly want to take an interview. And then you send out those to compel them to come to court. To testify. And I know a lot of people like doctors and, staff or even previous lawyers or anything else. Well, I bill out so much an hour. I don't give a shit what you do. It's called a fucking federal subpoena. You ain't getting paid. Show the fuck up and tell what you fucking know. And I've heard that so much out of psychologists and doctors. Well, I'm not going to testify. A subpoena will compel you to. Unless you're breaking, privilege or anything else. But once you challenge that, you say, well, you've already broken my privilege. So what's the difference now? You gave it to the state. Did they have a warrant to get it? Did they do that? No, you just handed it over in some cases, or this or that. I mean, it depends on how these things work together. But you see them going hand in hand, and everybody's like, why isn't our elected appointed officials doing anything about it? Because they're all fucking making money off of it.
Everybody gets a hand in the money, no doubt.
Yeah.
Especially like Brenda's kids. Look at Brenda's kids. They all have specials. They need some extra care. And how old are they, Brenda?
Well, Sage is 21 now. She's the only one that had the autism, and then Christopher is 19. But it's kind of weird because at the beginning they were saying both the kids had delays, and they're somehow trying to blame it on our homeschooling was the reason that our kids had delays. Then they threw my kid in public school and figured out
Brenda, don't you
he was
love
making
when they
straight
go
A's.
after when you're homeschooling, though? The homeschoolers, they love going after homeschoolers. They are known for going after homeschoolers. Matter of fact, even the homeschooling organizations will warn you of CPS. Literally. I'm not kidding.
Well, I mean, look at
I mean, you see
like
the same
Ruby
thing,
Ridge
don't you,
and
Brenda?
Waco. They were homeschooling their kids, right? Trying to live off. They just want that control. It's so horrible that they want that control. They
They
and the
want
money,
your
of
kids
course,
in
of the money.
school. Well, here's the thing. They want your kids in, I want you to listen to the legal term of this, in public school, which means they're in public. They're not in private. They're not protected. When you send your kids to a public school, you're putting them out as though they were on the streets. There's no protection. The school says, I will contract and say, well, I'll allow a certain amount of protection. But a lot of them are even getting to the point of saying, no, while they're with us, we have the rights. You sign over your parental rights. It's literally in handbooks. I wouldn't sign them as my kids were going. I'm not signing over my rights to my kids. Fuck that shit. No. You can tell the principal and everybody else shove it up their ass. And sure enough, they come around. I said, I refuse to do it. I says, and if you push this to force me to sign or she can't come to school, I'll sue the shit out of you because I am not signing over my rights. This is taxpayer run thing. Doesn't mean you get full control. This is an aid to the public.
And the thing is, that you don't have to be a part of an accredited school program, as far as I understand it. If as long as you're signing up with the Department of Education, say, okay, here I am, I'm homeschooling my kids. Sometimes they have, help with the books and stuff like that. Other times they want you to say, okay, how many hours do we work on this and that? Some states don't care. Believe me, I know. We move around quite a bit. But the thing is that that's when the problems with the youngest kids started. Is when a Department of Education is calling me saying the kids need to take this standard a test or whatever it was, and that if the kids were going to take it, that they would have to come to the school and do it. I said, oh, I'll gladly give my kids a test, whatever. Then they're trying to tell me, since I wasn't a registered teacher, that I would have to hire a teacher to give my kids this test. I said, what is your program? They said, they're asking me. Well, my program, I said, I homeschool doctors. That's my program. Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, be polite. Make sure you're always polite with them, right?
Well, here's my other issue. If that's so mandatory and CPS says public school is so good, I'm going to ask everybody out there one question. How many of your kids can read the original documents of the Bill of Rights and the Constitution and be able to sign their name in cursive, their calligraphy, that which allows them to enter into contract and to sign away contract or anything? Do your kids know? And you're going to force me to use their system that's getting federal funding to do that? I laugh my ass off at that stupid shit. I says, that's an act of treason by the Department of Education for not teaching our children that. You need to start suing your schools, guys. Big time. I'm telling you.
I say, guys, I say, well, how many children that came to this through this school that became doctors? And I say, well, with my program, I had 3. So not a lot of the schools can even say that they produced any doctors. I don't imagine. In fact, we should look into the statistics of that. How many?
Apparently, I got runners. track and field. I'm just saying.
Hello,
Just kidding.
Danielle.
Hey, I had to say hey. I got so much going on. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, that was a good show earlier with Tiff and the Punisher. That was an excellent show. Yeah, I didn't get to
I caught
watch
bits
all
and
of it.
pieces. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
same way.
Either I
we'll
seen
put
the
you.
beginning of it, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get you in touch with. I already talked to Sylvia about getting in touch with you, Danielle. Shit, I
I would
thought she was.
love to.
I thought she was out west, but she's in there. Um, but
I
my
never
whole
knew that.
Yeah, she's awesome. My whole point to this was that what I was showing you is all these things are common, all these things are geared against the father, and it's just against men and boys in general. Um, this is what they're doing to break the families down, but it's not only to break down the family, it's to break down the will of a man. Period. I believe because no one knows what it's like until you're
Absent
a father,
fathers.
right? And when you're absent fathers, until you break that
Okay.
away from a man, it's ridiculous. You don't understand what a
I
man
don't
can.
agree with the women that do that to these fathers. I don't think I'm a like I just found out that when my aunt got my son, that's why they changed my child support from non-TANF to support 4D because all of a sudden she was receiving money. So whoa, um, yeah. When all this started, and that's where all the BS is, and with the start of my case, because
Here,
child support just gave it away.
Wow.
here's the thing, and I'm going to say something that may hurt some feelings, but I'm going to say prove me wrong. It takes a real man to raise a young boy into a man. It takes a lady to raise a young girl to be a lady. There are certain things fathers are incapable of doing. That's why you have a husband and wife to teach balance.
Right.
Learn the curve of everything
Yep.
through there. But when you eliminate that balance that is necessary for a nurturing child to grow,
Yep.
and you mess with it at all, you're going to take and you're going to get men that are more feminine because they're raised by women and they're taught to fear being a man or masculine or looked down on or berated for. Women, when you go through your stuff, listen, you guys are your own worst enemy. I mean, here's the thing: you guys
We
wear
are
makeup. It's
trifling,
not.
trifling.
Listen here, you wear makeup not for us. It's for you to impress other women. Oh, I got your number.
Mm,
Or feel good about
Danielle.
yourself. It does have that.
right,
It does
exactly.
happen.
What you just
But
said. Feel
most
good
of
about
it,
yourself. Yes,
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 there's a two
yes,
sided, and deep down, you know, the other is just a little bit. Yeah,
yes. Oh, I can. You
exactly.
already know. I'll speak the truth.
But it's
Yeah,
that quiet. It's that quiet truth about ourselves of saying,
of course.
I know my faults as a man. I know my things as a woman. But at the same time, why did you let other women bully you when you were happy in a flourishing family to push to leave all this because somebody else told you this
Because
sucks or that lifestyle is
right,
oppressive? And when you get on the
right.
other side or you get to the point of some of these people with divorce, the first thing you say is, I fucked up, unless it was abusive, it was this, that, or they really had it good to chase something else. And they go, everything else was crap because now I can chase all those men and date all those men and do all those things. But now no real man wants to do anything to do with me. Why? Because I'm used up.
Yep.
And that's the way they're looking. I'm good
The
for a
people
booty
and people,
call.
the counselors and stuff they send you to, and the kids were
Yeah.
women that were
But
divorced.
if there's somebody that is their relationship is struggling as it is, and I've seen plenty of women that were in these marriages and just walk away and because they wanted that it's like the one of them said that she was missing the connection or the bond or she needed
I'm not
her
in love
her
anymore.
feeling of
I'm not happy.
right or she needed to feel she was wanted. I'm like, hello, your kids. Would you not fight for something to get it to work, to make it work? My God, my mother and father were together 39 years, and trust me, my mom when she meant what she said. He was there for life. There was no divorce, nothing, and I mean, and that's. it's and now the women want to hold the men, their children against the men. It's I've seen too much of the bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's sickening to know, because I'm that little 1-2% of these of child support that's one of the absent fathers. I'm not an absent parent, for one. For two, I get treated just like those absent fathers get treated, straight up. But it's not even by my wife or my husband. I was never married. It's by family.
Right.
So, but I mean, I see what these guys go through, and it's absolutely, it's horrific. It's bullshit. But yet they want more of this. Oh, they want to take them to court for
That's
more of this.
exactly what they're doing. And you know what they're taking it from?
Mm-hmm.
Blue
The
collar,
kids.
hard-working
Yep.
people for some
Exactly.
pushy little pussy ass to sit in an air-conditioned office. They go out there and
Mm-hmm.
dig a fucking ditch
Yep.
that I'm going to come steal from you is exactly
Mm-hmm.
what it is. This
Them.
is why they
Yeah.
want small government. We've got enough with corporations trying to get at our paychecks and everything to spend as a consumer. We don't need our government turning on us, draining us for bullshit because you don't want to get a real damn job.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to
Right.
say that for the
And
politicians and a lot of the others that do
mhm.
this.
And these parents, these fathers that are going through this are actually
Oh
hardworking
yeah,
men that love their jobs, and I mean love their kids, that would love to keep that would have wanted the marriage to work, but the woman, and I'm a woman, okay, and I don't agree with the bullshit. I've seen
listen,
too many guys go through
I'm
this, and
the
they're getting attacked.
psychological warfare that women have
It's
gone through
fucked up.
over the past, 4
I'll
centuries
tell
or
you, women are
more,
trifling.
as well as the hormonal things with the food, the birth control, and all the other things that are out there that mess with your brain chemistry.
They
It
need to
has
stop
been
playing
proven.
victim.
And the thing is all of this is going on at the same damn time. And once again, your brain chemistry is being messed with. You're not thinking clearly.
Hmm.
So that justifies it because the studies are saying, yes, birth control changes your brain chemistry permanently.
But for some,
Permanently.
for any, but for someone to use a child on over somebody, hold it over somebody's head, and they know
Oh,
damn
it's
well that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's cold hearted. That's cold hearted as
well
shit.
now let's have the discussion
Unless
then
they have a hell of a reason for it.
of then women's rights and everything being we want equality. And that would be the other thing of saying, well, if you want that, and in
Well,
this modern day and age, everybody works and you want equality, why are we doing that of who gets more of this and that? That's for certain situations, but
well,
we've got
you
people
just said it.
working back and forth.
You just said it. It's equality, not
Yeah.
special rights,
Yeah.
not that. It's equality. That means
No,
that you are equal to
no
me.
weaker partnership,
Right. That
cry,
means that
or any
you
of
are
that
equal
other
to
thing.
me.
And the courts need to get a hold of that.
Right.
If you want equal, treated equal as same as it was a man versus standing there with a man. That's what it's supposed to do, or a woman with a woman.
Right,
Not
right.
opposite sex don't mean that. That's why your courts are supposed to be blind like that. It shouldn't matter the sex. It shouldn't matter this and that. We're going to stay on the facts, not the sob story. And to let that play on, there's not a punitive side of this. There's not emotional distress. You're getting divorced. There's no, okay, divide.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not that
I mean,
hard. Now, guess who came up with those no contest divorce? The states, because it
yeah.
makes more money. Now, add that to the psychological warfare they've done with women to make there's always something better. This is crappy. All this other stuff. More, 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 more. I got to
And
have more. I got to look better, compete with
and
the
they feed
Joneses.
them with that victim like bullshit. Sorry,
All of
pardon my
it.
French, but I mean, I'm a woman, and
Keep
I
it
will tell
real.
you straight up, it is true.
Yep.
I
Keep
mean,
it
I'm like,
real.
wait a minute. And I understand, like, there are stories out there where the husband was horrible, yes, but a lot of, I cannot stand when I'm sitting in a group and hearing the things when, was he really like that? Because I didn't see you press charges, I didn't see you doing, come on now. But you got away from it. I understand, like, the DVs and stuff, but my thing is, why, honestly, the guy was a good father, maybe y'all didn't work out, you and the mom or the dad, it was toxic. Look at me and my baby daddy. We are better off friends than we were together.
And
And I told him that. And but the people the women that want to play victim, yet he's horrible, and
now,
I hate.
but see, don't get me wrong that these single mothers, they're doing the best they can. That's not what I'm saying. Please don't misinterpret that as saying because some people would take the wrong way. Oh, hell no, I'm doing it myself, or this is it. But you're looking for a male influence, though, don't you?
That's
That's what I'm
yeah,
trying
but
to
I'm
say
not.
is that strong male influence to help you with your boys, because boys are a different damn breed of
But if
thing,
their dad's in
especially
their
when they
life,
get older.
why interfere with
Yeah.
that? Let them
Well,
see their child.
and they need that balance. And if you guys didn't work out, so long as the kids are truly safe and you're not, I mean, being real, hey, you
I
guys may have your differences, but is he really like that with your kids, or this, working stuff
I
out?
can tell you right now,
It's just,
my daughter's dad is not like that. He is totally he claims all three of my kids, and he is like, and he's always been. But me and him, like, we
yeah.
fight. We can fight, but
Well, and
but
that's the
my
thing.
kids spoiled rotten,
Divorce court
spoiled
wasn't
rotten.
supposed to be like that. If you got divorced, here's the simple rules. The emotional part of it was kept out of the courtroom. But now that emotional part is all in the courtroom, and you're just dividing things up and being done, but that's not what's happening. There's a lot of manipulation with things, and I'm not saying it's all women, but they're playing tricks because it keeps you in court longer. How many, if you just went in and say,
Yep.
Your Honor, we've divided everything, we've agreed, this is what we propose, or what they call agreed upon divorce, you're done. It's signed, and we've agreed upon this. We've even agreed on child support. You can do that privately. You don't have to go into the state program. It's a private contract. You can literally do that. And then they can't interfere, and just be an adult and stay in your lane. Now, when that doesn't happen, that's when the courts come in, and then you're going to have bias one way or another. Everybody said it. Well, he likes men more, or she likes men, or this judge likes men more than he does women because of this, that. And you hear the stories, or a woman that hates men because her old man left her high and dry, and she, now she's all alone and bitter and all this. And you get all this stuff that's going on. I'm just saying that's the whole point. You're dealing with these humans. You're adding another human to it with their opinions and their past and their decisions and their experiences to decide your shit. Am I wrong?
And Danielle, when you hear the story, sometimes it might be better not to marry the person, and then there's not going to be anything having to happen in court because you're not going to go to court and get divorced and all this other
Look
stuff.
at look at me and my perfect example. We don't, and he pays child support. Been paying it religious, like, and my aunt's got my daughter, but we still talk and we still do things as my daughter's parents, but as all three of my kids' parents, because at the end of the day, if there's a man out there that shows interest and is in a relationship, like say in my situation, if there's a guy and he is, because I don't just introduce men to my kids. No, that's never, no, not an option. Like, never. Johnny was one, and he took, and my kids, and if there's one that's willing to, and he accepts you like me with all three of my kids, right there's a like winner, and then just, but I'm not gonna sit here as time goes on. If he want, it'll take time though, but my father was the father figure for my son also for 17 years. And I never wanted to strip my father of that, because my youngest and my oldest's dad, he was never around. He was I mean, he's got 5 different baby mamas, and he's got 6 kids.
Well,
I'm the one with 2 of them.
and Chris is out here talking, say, she's got a lot of
Yeah.
experience with family and
Oh
everything else
yeah.
out there.
And this is a
But
subject that
saying,
it does piss a
and
lot of
and
people off, and I hate.
this is a very touchy subject, but guys,
Yes, it
let's
is.
have that real conversation. Let's remove some of our bitterness and our experience of saying, just because you with it, that's not the way it's supposed to be, is the point.
We have to have
Is
an
what we're
open
saying.
mind.
That's what we're saying. We're all trying to find this balance, but now you add the CPS into your family. It's just grenaded your family. It's stripped you apart. You don't know what to do, and all your core, your home, your comfort is now gone. You feel violated.
Yep.
I mean,
And that's the
essentially
same
what
way
CPS is doing
Yep.
is a family rape.
I'm still here. Yep.
I
And
mean,
that's
if you
what I
think
said
about
in
it,
the
it's family
podcast
mental
earlier
rape.
on Brenda's show. I said,
Yeah.
my son I mean, think about it. I could take pictures and show everyone like a 15-second video of my son as he's growing up just to now, and just look at the difference. You can just tell without any words, nothing. Look at the difference. Look at what has done just in a matter of 2 years, what these people have done to rip my whole fucking family apart for no reason. But yet they were never in our life for over a decade. And there was a guardianship order in place. In a matter of 2 years, look what they've done. Look at my son. Look at I mean, you could even tell just in a year the difference. He is not him. I mean, that's what you call true blue, like present time damage from these people, from this system that's broken, that needs this. I mean, look, my child. I mean, he's not even in the competence, like his mental capacity is not even what it was, nowhere near what it was, and he's only gotten worse. Now he looks like, I mean, it's just crazy.
Now, Chris also says that, she's begged dads to be involved with the kids, and sometimes they won't. And you're right. And that could
is
be
true.
due to a woman is extremely toxic, or there's a drug abuse problem, or some other issue there.
Well, I couldn't
Like
let
I said,
my.
but once again,
It wasn't good for the
why they
one
don't want
to
to be
be in my
part of
kid's
it?
life.
Yes, there are people that take and abandon them, and those are just, that's something, that's a really bad person. But you can't judge everybody else by the same measure.
Every story is different.
Because and here's the thing, there's a lot of people, you're right, your kids don't know about it, but there's usually a male role model they can look up to, and
My
hopefully
father.
there's one day,
Well,
like
what?
I said, that either another person
Hold on
comes in,
now.
like a stepdad or something like that later. I
Hold on.
mean, you never know what happens, but there's always a male influence either in the home or just outside the home with somebody, somehow, some way, or they're seeing an example, and they may be seeing bad examples
I'll
as
tell you,
well. But
my
that's
kids,
a lot to do with it.
Gunner, my cousin's husband and my aunt's husband and my father were the men in my kids' lives, and I wouldn't change that for nothing. My kids had the stability and growing up over the last decade of that what they needed, something that honestly I could not provide for them because I was not with and my kids, and I can tell you right now, yes, my kids needed that. My girls, they needed that comfort, and I'm glad, and I thank my uncle and my cousin and their husband and my uncle and my dad every day. Now in the present time now, I still thank them and appreciate them, but with what's going on currently, that's a story for a different day. But they're still the influencers of my kids' lives, and that's what. So I can't take back a decade of awesomeness to just let it go to shit just because of the stuff we're going through now.
Well, let me
I mean, I
explain
can.
perspective.
Go ahead.
Let me explain perspective too, because yes, there are unique situations to where the father doesn't want anything to do with it. The mother's really struggling, and there are some male role models and stuff like that that are there. But you got to understand too, from the perspective of watching kids that are already grown and several other hundred kids growing and watching as my kids interacted when they are younger. Yes, but sometime during their life as they grow up, whether a mom's missing, a dad's missing, something, that child is going to feel that void, whether you like it or not.
Yes,
In
that's
some
correct.
time in their life.
Yep. That's correct, Gunner. That is so correct because I'm experiencing that right now with my girl, my oldest girl, and she wants us in her life, and her dad is in her life, and guess who she is coming at? Me, which is fine. I can handle it, there's what she's been told though. I said, and I told her this. I said, there's two sides to every story, baby girl. I said, but don't ever think I ain't been there cheering you on, honey. I said, that's where you're wrong. I said, I'm your biggest cheerleader. I said, but I can't sit here and let her ruin something that's going to be detrimental for us in the future to have a mother-daughter
Exactly.
relationship.
Yes.
So, and I hope she understands that, but I did have to not cut her off, but I did have to put that out there that I can't talk to her until if she's wanting to listen. If she,
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Because
now hold on. There's a name for that. Okay, that's called boundaries. You establish
Boundaries. That's
the
it. That's
boundaries
it.
that this turns around and says, I can't because of me, and you need to respect that boundary. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong. Guys, listen to me very, very carefully. And even Sharon will tell you the same thing. do not be afraid to set boundaries, because boundaries determines who you're defining, who you are and what you will and will not tolerate. And those people that will not respect that, you need to cut out of your life very, very, very fast, because those are toxic people every single time.
Yep.
100%.
And it's not
run.
straight up. That's
Even
right.
if, hold on, even if it's blood.
Right.
Listen to me, and that one's going to be hard.
That is
That's
very hard.
Yes.
I'm living it right now. Yep. All right. My whole story can tell you that. I mean, even if it's blood, because I'm telling you, I never would have thought people like, and yeah, I got that. Yep.
You would have never, and here's the other thing: as you go on with time, when you first started, here's the other thing:
talk about.
You never thought you'd be where you were.
No, never.
There's
I didn't
no,
plan
you
my life
never
out
saw
young.
it coming.
Yep.
Exactly.
No. Like
So
I
there's
was,
a lot of things.
Yeah. My mom and dad, my dad gave my mom the all-American dream. What every woman wants, what every little girl wants, is that life, like have the white picket fence and get married and have kids. My mom let that, and here I come, and I have 3 kids, never married, single mother, and I'm like, where the hell did I go wrong? Like, what happened? Like, we don't plan this stuff out. We don't.
Well, and some of that too goes back to our parents on, we needed more skills when we got out into the world of relationships that we were finding out. How many parents actually taught us boundaries? I mean, some of us boys learned a few things real quick. Hey, if you pee on the fence, it's going to buzz you, or something like that. Or, hey, put your hand in there, it's going to bite. I mean, we all learned those stuff lessons, didn't we? Didn't you?
Yeah,
Everybody learned that stuff lesson. Go ahead, put your hand
She
up
was
there.
more stern on me than my brothers, because I was the female, and I guess like the old fashioned way was and the daughters
down generation to generation. Danielle, something in her childhood or her raising caused her to be that way with her kids, and when you understand that and look at it objectively, now that makes sense.
It took me a long time.
But see, Daniel, part of what we're doing here is sharing with them that people that don't, because that's the majority of people, and let them know that's okay, because they're even being taught by those other toxic people, you can't do that. We're blood. No.
I'm sorry. Like blood, just because they're blood. I've way more people that I'm closer to than my own blood family. Like I've got family that's not even blood.
Exactly.
I mean,
that don't make you family. Blood don't always make you family.
No, it doesn't. And you know what else doesn't? Last thoughts. Let's do the last thoughts, guys. We're over our time. Who wants to start? Danielle?
When y'all keep fighting, it's coming. It's baby steps. They're listening. But like I say, they need to hear the real stories of the true experiences of what we've been through, and they're listening. So just keep shouting out, and just know we're working on, and it's coming. It's baby steps. I was told it's baby steps, but they hear us, and they are listening, and it gets better more and more every day. I see it with my own social media with these people, So
it's making an impact.
Yes. So and just like the things they say, those certain words they say, I caught on today that somebody was even talking about my Georgia's Hidden Scarlet letter, in one of their press things earlier this afternoon. I was like, Danielle, what? So we're being heard, and it's getting the transparency. It's getting out there, because that's how bad they keep this stuff hidden from us. Like with Rescue the Fosters, foster care, these kids are isolated. Isolation is horrible. Well, you know what? They're not going to, these families, keep speaking and stop letting them bully up on us, and stop bowing down to them. Because I'm telling you, we will win this battle. I promise y'all. Yeah. And my son is safe. He is home with family. He's out of observation. And they are no longer involved. I'll share more, but keep fighting, everybody, and y'all be listening. I have a couple shows that I'm going to be putting some stuff out there. Keep on, it's working. I promise. So pack it up.
That's right.
Let's go.
Pack it up.
one is tough, but a pack is unstoppable. So pack it up.
You ain't stopping us. That's right.
That's right.
What about you guys?
Kind
You
of
got the
push
last
harder.
word?
I'm going to say right now the way. Well, and I guess this is something that'll hit home to everybody. Right now, where we're at is like David and Goliath. Is that we're standing there with two different armies, one looking greater. And it's going to take the bravery and the nobility and the belief that that one stone that is slung
Yep.
is going to take down the giant and cut off its head. Because once that one initial thing is done, then you will have a true war and see who is the true might. I just feel that thing coming. I feel that everybody's just a little intimidated. They're a little scared. They know it has to be done. Um, I think we're seeing slowly in our country the return to the Constitution and the lies that have happened for decades that have gone on. Who shot Kennedy? Who did this? We're now finding out history and find out we were lied to and cover ups and money wasted. And I mean, it's all coming
Files
out. And it's
altered, all
not
kinds of stuff.
misinformation, it's truth.
And this is not just a
And
simple errors, like little
no,
errors like they talk about.
no,
No,
this
this
is
is
done
major
on
shit.
purpose, guys.
Yes.
And,
And they
and here's the
just got so
thing.
complacent.
If you're
This
having
is
mental health issues, understand this is psychological warfare with CPS.
Mm-hmm.
Get some
Oh
help,
yeah.
get some support. Don't lose hope, no matter what you do.
No.
The Constitution is coming back. We're in for an awakening. We are alive in both a very dark time that we're all going through. But listen, the Constitution is coming back. There's no way. It's already started. And when it does, we're not going to realize how much we gave up and
Right.
what was done to us. And it has to be slowly done, because if all of it was just dumped on us and just a mass, your mind, your psyche as a person would break. You couldn't comprehend it, which is why this is a step at a time. Guys,
Baby steps. Baby steps.
don't forget that we have our show, Gunning for CPS, every Sunday night at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Check us out there. Join us. Our numbers are growing. We've got a lot of cool upcoming things. This coming week, as you guys know, that are usual followers of us, we alternate between case law and mental health. Now, last week was case law, and if you missed it, it was a great show. Darren was there in the back just watching. We had great numbers, great interaction. And this week is mental health. Why? Because we have got to learn to take care of ourselves that maybe our parents never did, including our own mental health. You have got to have time for you as a person. Mothers, listen to me. You need to make time even away from your kids for your own mental health.
That is
very important.
So true. So
and support each other. Okay, guys? And guys, that's all we've got for me. Our boss man, lead us out with words of wisdom and infinite knowledge.
You know, baby. So here's the thing, guys. This path and this road that we're getting ready to go down, this is the calm before the storm. It's time to put the pedal to the metal, man.
It's coming.
We can't stop.
We get one shot at this.
Yep, and when we don't, if we can't finish this, then we're all going to end up somewhere we don't want to be. So we don't have a choice. Once we turn this thing on, we ain't turning it off. So we need everybody in on this. You know, tell your neighbors, tell your friends, get everybody in on this fight, because this is it.
Oh yeah, it's
all
on.
go, people. So that being said, we're getting out of here. Have a good night. I'm the CPS Punisher. We are out of here.
Bye, everyone.
Of course, I have to do this share thing that I'm supposed to do that I forgot all about.
There we go.
Bye, y'all. Have a good night.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I